education, and what happened was everybody kind of went a bit quiet and thought that we can't just broadly do education en masse. We don't actually have all the resources here. Maybe we start to hone in on being a bit more specialised. The health, spa, cosmetic side popped up again, maybe film, so to speak. Film, creative spaces. We've got a good, strong film industry here already, so maybe there's, we can build on that. Everybody agreed that it does lead to a desired future. We all ticked that box. Yes, we thought it all had kept our options open, and our return on investment, a little unclear, a little hard to know really at this point. Our next big idea was definitely an events space and a conference centre, one that included sports, one that included a possibility for performing arts, for shows, a great space. In the filtering process, it then had lots of questions come up, I guess, how that goes, yeah. Definitely need more homework on it.
Economically advantaged people, introducing them to the community. But we actually changed it, we defined it a little bit more. We basically said attracting high value rather than just economic. And then residents as well, so that the people who live here, as opposed to people who just invest in here. So we started with that idea and we broke it down. We started that, we voted on that, succinctly. Then we decided that it needed more information than that anyway. So we broke it into 3 other areas. One is high value, meaning economic. The second one was high value, meaning skill. And the third one is high value, meaning community minded. So the third one was the concept of urban delight, and we sort of described that further again as a benchmark for development, should something happen or not. We had 7, 7 and 7 on all 3 of the questions. If we use that concept of maintaining the amazing place that we live in, then it will fit all 3 of those desired futures, options open and return on investment.
One was our education option, and we had that divided up into 3 parts. One was good, solid, all levels education. A second one was kind of intellectual tourism, so bringing super brainy people in to kind of share their skills and knowledge and their money with us. And the other one was practical vocational skills, which is really making sure that people who live here actually get the skills they need to be able to do their jobs and stuff. We all agreed that they would all lead us towards the future that we want, but for different reasons. They kept our options open. There wasn't any that really precluded anything else, and there wasn't anything we had to invest a big amount in trying to generate in order to make it happen that we're going to end up the white elephant. But you can see the interesting part came in the end where we're looking at return on investment. The immediate return on investment around education was pretty hard to prove, and that's why it's got 2 tiny little dots there. But the value add really side of it, the intangible side of it was really strong. And you can see that the intellectual tourism one sort of was a lot weaker around, because we thought that it might be a good idea, but we weren't going to get a massive cash flow from a few people coming with their brands. And then the practical vocation, we felt that it had real good solid return for our community in both ways. It was going to give us good return on investment, so we had great staff who could deliver what we're looking for in the tourist industry and in our outdoor adventure industry, but we only gave it a 3 out of 5, and then the value add was really strong because it meant that people who live here could, get built up and become more capable in general. And then you can see this was where we started to squabble quite. And that was really around whether we should invest in affordable housing or whether we should, which would be high-rise and dense, was our 2 main kind of qualifiers. So that people would have a good solid place to live, might want an apartment, not a big section to have to try and look after. And the other one was kind of a convention centre, and then we got into a little bit of a difference of opinion over whether that would be a niche convention centre, and some of us divided ourselves off and decided that we wanted it to be quite focused and targeted. And so that's the 2 here, the niche people who agreed to support it, and it would take us towards a dream future if it was a niche one and we weren't trying to just compete with the big cities and drag people to our place. And you can see that reflected in our next part, where the niche people continued in their habits, managed to attract another friend. And so we really, the main issue we had around keeping, we sort of talked about how we're keeping our options open. If we invest in affordable housing, the two main thoughts were, some people were saying, well, everyone needs a house to live in. It doesn't matter what industry we're going to have, so therefore it keeps our options open. But if we use our council or community-owned land to invest in housing rather than something else, it didn't preserve our options, and that's the people you can see here in orange were of that opinion. And the same is reflected in the niche convention centre sort of side. You know, maybe we're just going to buy a big white elephant unless we really think carefully about what is our purpose in having that.
We went for integrated diversity, and perhaps because the two farming related people at the table, we picked on the obvious one, salmon farming. and that led us to, the view was, did the action hinder our desired future? Well, our desired future was about integrated diversity. And you can see that there were 5 greens here and only 2 ambers. So the view was that it did. And I think the reason for that was that, you know, we saw people being literally hooked, come and pay to get into the facility, given a line to catch the fish, some feed to put on the hook, and then the opportunity to buy the fish after they'd hooked it and take it away and cook it. So we thought that, you know, it was a good tourist activity. And then in terms of options open, yeah, nobody felt that salmon farming was going to preclude anybody else in the district from doing anything else they wanted to do. Return on investment, and there was a lot of question marks there. Then on education, we went for a Chinese language school. And what we meant by Chinese language school was actually a school that taught Chinese, not the other way around. And when we got into that subject, we had some open minds here. I mean, I think that nearly about 40% of the group said, yeah, that's a good thing to do. And all but one thought it was in the realms of possible to do it, and it kept our options open. One didn't. When it came to, in terms of, was it subscribing to our desired future, but when it came to options open, pretty much everybody thought it did, only 1 amber. So far as the return on investment is concerned, this is where the real truth came into this. Didn't get a lot of ticks. In fact, 3 said no, it wouldn't make a good return on investment. 3 said maybe. But here's the rub. The only Chinese person at our table said it was a good deal. He's also the youngest at our table, and I think there might be a message there for us in both those spheres.
We had a big discussion about broadband. You know, should it be free in Queenstown and who would it benefit? And it was like a tourism boost, but then ultra-fast broadband would be a business boost. The other thing, we looked at our public transport and the car-free future, and we thought, why not just try the $2 ride? We thought the $2 ride would all start using public transport, and all our kids would. We didn't really get on to food, which was sort of our big thing.
And so we'll collate that and have that as the ongoing summary of what we're doing here.